I've finished the mend of our wrap with a great big hole, and here it is. This whole area was one open hole where all the weft threads had perished, the white threads, just because it's an old wrap and this is the area of most wear, like the jeans, like the knees of your jeans. But the warp threads were still intact, so essentially what I've done is darned the wrap with new thread that I've added up and down. There's nothing knotted in, nothing tied, it's all floating, but it's very, very secure, and the cloth has a very natural movement. It's slightly raised and thicker in this area because I used a thicker thread, and the thread's actually pale blue compared to the white, but I don't think it's particularly noticeable. I could have tried to sort of make this area a bit paler and make the pattern a little bit more filled in. However, I didn't want to overwork it. I just wanted it to be safe and secure, and I think that I'm happy with that now. I'm happy that this cloth is going to function. I'm going to try it with the demo doll in a little bit. So that's one side. I mostly worked on the other side, and then I had to flip it to this side to just check any areas that sort of didn't seem as worked into. So there we are. This is the other face of the cloth. Initially it looked like a really big scary job because of how big the hole was, but actually it's been very simple to mend, realistically. The biggest concern I had was that I wanted to get the cloth lined up. So obviously with the weft threads having disappeared, these warp threads opened up into a hole, and I needed to get them all back in line. So what I did was sight some threads that would sort of give me the width that I wanted, so that the warp threads were not too pulled in, not too spread out. And then after that, I've just gone in between those and filled in sections, and I've tried to do it sort of evenly spread so that I didn't start here and kind of get wider or narrower. And once I got into the swing of it, it was actually very, very simple to do. I used thicker thread because I thought that would be easier, and it was. And I used a big chunky needle. At first, I had the idea that I was going to go over and under sort of every individual warp thread, and I soon realised that you have to bunch them into groups because otherwise it's just too fiddly, and I'm not sure that it was offering any extra support. So yeah, as a first mend of a large hole, I'm really pleased with that. It wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought I might have had to anchor in some extra warp threads to make it secure, but actually it's really nicely come out without any extra fuss, and hopefully it's given this old wrap a good lease of life. So I'll find my demo doll, and I'm going to see how Big Fat Creepy Baby likes it. Here we are. So this is it wrapped. I've not completed the carry so that you can actually see what I've done here, but in terms of movement, the cloth works just as normal. I mean, obviously it's a little bit visible, isn't it? But hardly, not dramatically, not compared to how big a hole it was. Sorry, creepy baby. There, and so I've got absolutely no safety concerns with that, and very little cosmetic concern, really. I think that's a really nice job. Yeah. So, oh gosh, how dirty my mirror is. Anyway, there we go. So you can have a massive, massive hole in your wrap, and it still might have plenty of life left in it, which is really nice to know, isn't it? There we go.